Hello, guys, and welcome to game number 2 as we get ready for the panel. I see that I'm still Nomad, which is an honor, Fish, but maybe you could change my name there to Avo Plus. But we are getting ready for the Trent. Don't you know? I have not had any throws to you today. You have nothing to say to me. There's no. I haven't called you wonderful yet, Trent. Then you can get angry. But before that happens, let me tell you guys what the game is for today. It's U.Esports versus, it's NoPing versus Infamous. I say NoPing, I say SG because it does have some of the old SG members like King Jungles, and it's looking like the stronger Brazilian team out of the two, at least for now. And this is their real decider match, as Infamous has been looking as a very promising team, but the results unfortunately don't really show it, despite their players being top tier. And for NoPing Esports, we have our Brazilian expert, which is unfortunately not here today, who has been hyping them up as probably the best team in Brazil for now. Will he be right? Will we get to send Bowie some angry letters mocking him? We'll have to see, as they have to beat Infamous to really prove their worth. Of course, here on the wonderful panel, it's Winter, our TI expert, and then Trent, our SA and international man, connoisseur of the world.
Yeah.
Will never misinterpret your words. Hello, Trent.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. So happy to be here and to watch some more SA Dota. Woo! Yeah. Bowie's not here, but that's okay. I definitely like this NoPing roster. I definitely agree that it's one of the more promising Brazilian squads, which is hard to say considering they've lost HFN, which was that was kind of the thing that was making it HFN's so sick, and it felt like a lot of international teams were even kind of talking about the way he played. And now he's gone, and NoPing's still looking like quite the threat. Obviously, a basically completely new roster at this point. So looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. I like that you pointed that out because HFN was Hector before Hector was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he was the guy who's everyone looked at. It's like, oh, how does he farm? How does he do this? And then after a while, they just forgot about him completely. He's actually struggling in lower div. He's in Team R way, or that's how they qualified, and it's not been doing as hot. But it doesn't matter because we're in Div 1. Winter, you've got to see some of these teams. You've gotten to familiarize yourself with the region. Do you have any favorites here, my friend?
NoPing.
Okay. Clear, concise, nice. Why?
From hearing about what you guys mentioned, about them, we have a lot. There's a lot of expectations on Infamous, but they didn't really show up as well as all the expectations. But I think for NoPing, I would go with them because they have more experienced players, overall.
Mm-hmm. What do you value more right now, Winter? If I will give you two teams and you didn't know them whatsoever, would you value more the experienced captain or the hot young players, like Alone and stuff, like the high MR players?
Can I choose what I want? Mix and match.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'll choose a team with 3 to 4 young players and with an experienced captain. I think that's a recipe for success right now. Because most of the older players, the seasoned players that we're playing for, say, 4 or 5 years, a lot of them are really burnt out. They have motivation issues, where the younger players, they always have a lot more motivation than the older players, but they have issues with discipline. That's why you always need to have one old dog in the team. If you have 5 young players, it doesn't work.
Which one do you think assimilates Winter's analogy more, Trent?
Oh. Out of these two teams?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, to me at least, NoPing, I just recognize so many of them from a longer time, so I feel like they're more of the old dogs, right? Then there's just Excel, who's just here come on, guys, round them up, let's go. So it's that recipe sounds pretty Infamous to me.
I like that. Trent is correct, by the way. NoPing has a couple of people. I mean, it's hard to tell for NoPing because the definition of young player for some people is so different. Because RDO, is he young? I mean, he's not had much success in the scene. No big opportunities just yet. He might still be very hungry, right? The biggest thing I guess RDO you could say did was bait. And that's saying something because they got eliminated off EU lower div. So, it might just be that NoPing has these people that are still hungry, even if they are a bit older and they've been in the scene for a while. Analog is also still hungry. He comes from the new iteration of Brazilian teams. I think everyone has claimed Monster is a god ever since. That's Monster is probably the best thing to come out of NA in a while. Out of the young players, he's really made a splash in the scene. So Are these three enough? The Lacoste and King jungles, the classic two supports that are old dogs, and then some of the young players. Who knows? Infamous is completely young, though, as you mentioned. So they literally have some 19-year-olds in the team, which is crazy. We'll see.
He came
maybe
to see like a couple of years ago. I remember he was here.
Yeah, Monster was there. Yeah,
he was. I think for 1 year. Was he 1 year?
I don't know if it was a whole year. I remember like it was all like a. What team was he on?
Team Oracle.
Oracle? Was
he,
it?
He was
he was on QO.
Squad.
Oh, yeah.
With like QO.
Yeah. He was really angry.
Yeah. He's kind of made a splash everywhere he's gone, to be honest. Like, considered to be a top tier offlaner, which again is rare coming from NA because usually that's what they lack. To a guy that dominates the game. And Bowie was telling us on stream the other day how Manguso, I want to say, which is the coach for SG, the old coach for SG, the current coach for NoPing, he took 7 weeks of looking for players until he found the one that was right, and that was Monster. And like, he was looking through all the regions, trying to find the perfect fit for the team, and he thought Monster was it. And that's why we have such high expectations for NoPing, even though they did fail us last week, and they didn't look that great, to be honest, in their matches against Apu King of Kings. They kind of got too old by them.
Yeah, that was our big upset, I guess, of the whole region, really. I would say so far. I definitely was not expecting that. No doubt. That weren't they? They were a qualifier team, right? Like they came in from the lower division, I suppose. Sorry, not not
it was Binomista's last season, Trent.
I mean, we know that like the divisions are weird in SA because it felt like Binomista's were like above a lot of their opponents last year. And then there were some teams in uppers who you're just like, I'm pretty sure Binomista's would beat these guys, but I wouldn't have expected that sort of a jump up. So, good time to get sponsored. That's for sure. You know, gotta show off for the new bosses.
Yeah, for Apu. Yeah. You know, in case you guys don't know, I mean, people call it APU, but I like to refer to it as Apu because even though that's something to do with their business model, that's what they refer to the old Incan gods. That's the gods of the mountains, the Apus. That's the people you pray to. So maybe they've been doing a lot of praying. Maybe that's why they have the power of the mountains now with them. Who knows? Because we've seen a King of Kings has looked 10 times more consistent than Binomista's was in lower.
Yeah.
Because they did lose some games against teams that was like, whoa, that's atrocious. You're a better team than this. And I don't know. Mini
that's just Mini, really dude. You know, that's it's the Mini life. It's all right. You live and die by the Mini. That's fine.
As Titi was saying that he can only play 4 heroes, but you know, he's like, why do you need any more? You know, you're the mid laner. 4 good heroes is better than 8 bad ones, right? And Mini has been styling on those until now. Really impressive performances for him, especially against NoPing.
Well, NoPing, we have 4 straight games of IO Luna, so I'm kind of curious how that's going to factor into our series today. They won 2, then they lost 2. I feel like if I'm Infamous, I'm just like, nah, I don't feel like dealing with that. But they also just beat SG's IO in the previous series, so maybe they're happy to go up against it. I'm very curious to see how that starts. I noticed who was it in C? I think it was SMG. We're bringing out the Luna in the first phase, and they made it look really strong. So I do think there is some value to this hero still.
I don't think the Luna was the problem, but as Tina was mentioning, particularly something that I liked a lot, he was against the analysis, and he's usually a resident flame drafter, and now Winter's taking over that role.
Right.
We're going to see who attacks the draft the most. But the idea that he was saying is that Luna pigeonholes you into one kind of strategy. You can like deviate slightly towards more death ball, deviate slightly towards more of a late game carry, but it's like you know what you're getting with Luna when you first phase it, right? And he was saying that if a team has figured you out, you need to change strategy immediately because it's not like a hard strategy to figure out particularly. There's no intricacies to that strategy. Would you agree with that, Winter? Are you the kind of player that would try to switch it up if the enemy team has figured you out?
He might not be functioning yet. There we
go. Oh, okay, yeah. that was a gamble. No, sorry, we apologize. I that was my gamble. I thought he was. We're gonna be waiting for Winter to fix his mic. Trent, you are gonna be my flaming analyst today. Well, tell me.
Yes.
New strategies or stick with what you know.
Well, to me, IO Luna is a strategy that says I'm better than you, and I think I'm just gonna win.
Right.
Because like I'm telling you what I'm gonna do, and I think you won't have an answer. So I'm going up against Infamous. I'd probably change my strategy. I feel like it was fair to try that versus Apu, but.
Right.
You know.
You think if it was too good?
Yeah, I think Apple was too good. At least that day. Again, as you said before, consistency not always been their strong suit.
Yeah.
See how things change
So
as
I
we
want-
continue.
Since we have a 2-man panel now, I'm just going to be asking you questions. So take this as an interview, Trent. You you did Div 2 last year, right?
Yep.
You guys did Div 1 and Div 2. You got to see Ego Boys back then with Lone as well, which
Yes.
is one of the up-and-coming teams. What is your opinion on him? Just as a general, I'm curious.
I just think Huskar when I think of Alone. It's like the first thing that pops in my head instantly. He's like one of the few players that has that ever since like it's the first time that's happened with a player since like Kataro used to play it way back when he was, going by Kataro. Of course. And
Oh,
yeah.
and Atun, remember that?
Yeah.
That was also his thing as
Yes,
well.
yeah, that's true. Well,
There's a reason for that.
Had some issues with that one. But yeah, so he's I don't know, he's very interesting. I wouldn't say he was like a massive standout. I heard a lot of hype about him too, so I tried to pay a lot of attention. He definitely looked like one of the better players on the team for sure, but I also felt like the team as a whole would drop a lot of situations that maybe it made it hard for Alone to shine a little bit. And sorry to hit on his buddy, but it kind of felt like Sacred. Sacred's the guy who needs to impress me. All right, I need to be like wined and dined by Sacred.
Do you know the Sacred meme?
No, I don't.
So in Peru, Sacred is known as like people throw a lot of flack at him, right? And people consider him a really bad offlaner, even though he honestly isn't, right? But it all comes from a meme because Sacred was playing in a pub against Hector, and Hector obviously a fine gentleman in pubs,
Fine, upstanding, yes, of course.
Yes, a flower really of positivity, and so he destroyed him in lane, right? And then Sacred was angry and kind of told him, hey, if you bring this combo to lane, you're not a real true man, right? Because he had like a strong 5 with him or something, right? And then Hector replies, Sacred, you lose because you're bad. You're not even worth 1 sol, which is the Peruvian currency, right? It's like you're not even worth $1. You're a worthless offlaner. And ever since Sacred has been dubbed as the Sacred not worth a sol. And then he told him, go study, my friend. As in, don't play pro Dota. Go build yourself a career. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Winter.
So, hey, Winter. How you doing? You're in the middle of story time. Nice to see you, man.
He's a 1 sol panelist over there, am I right?
Yeah. Good. Look at that. Trent, you're already part of the SA meme. I like it.
I'm in
I like
there.
it.
It's only 1 sol because apparently the audience still can't hear him, so...
Yes,
working
indeed.
on it here, guys. But you have a draft now.
We're working on it.
Hey, wait.
We do.
I know that hero. We talked about that hero.
Yeah, Ayo.
Oh.
I wonder what will they pair with it. I could you imagine a Luna, or is that too crazy, Trent?
5 seconds.
All right, well, they banned the Mars. Maybe they go Gyro. Oh, it's Luna. Might as well try.
Yeah, try to be like the smart. If you guess it, you were a god. If you didn't, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I got to go for it.
Yeah, I like it. IO Luna, I mean, I love the Magnus strats versus Luna or any IO things because you just take the partner for a ride. I actually think Magnus is a pretty decent counter. And usually Magnus also counters the style that you go with IO Luna or IO anything, which is hard carry that usually stays static and hits things, like Dusa, Luna, whatever.
Yeah.
Magnus just kidnaps him, takes him to your side of the map, and you can actually kill him. I love this. I think it's really solid.
And you know what's nasty is that NoPing can't leave in the Wyvern. Because Infamous have first pick out of this phase. Wyvern's great versus IO Luna. Typically counters the Magnus. So it could end up being a trap there. I really hope Infamous just grab it if it's left in.
I like that idea, actually. I like that idea. Because you already have a decent enough lane with Snapfire as your second support that you can kind of forego the Wyvern lane a bit, right? Because that's one of his biggest weaknesses, his lane being trash.
Sorry, you pick someone who can lane at least a little bit, and you'll be fine.
Right, like a carry, you mean?
Yeah,
like just a decent
you just
carry
get a
uphold
troll, so, okay, maybe someone good. Maybe
yeah, please, not a troll. Don't do this to me. I like it, yeah, because I have Magnus to recover after lane as well, right? You have last pick overall, so you have you can get a good matchup there. Yeah, I like that idea of a Wyvern, actually. That's exciting.
They actually have a lot of stuff they need to cover, speaking of which, because, like you just pointed out, they have the Magnus. So, like, they've done the IO Luna, that's their combo, but now NoPing have to be considering, like, what do we want to face? Like, should we give them the PA? Is that a little bit worrisome because it's a Luna who she doesn't really like to go on to like those like single targets. She likes to hit everybody and then maybe doesn't want the MKB. Yep. Or do we go for that classic Medusa, which is also not bad with Magnus?
Yeah, it's true actually. Medusa I think is probably the only range carry that you'd be like, yeah, it's okay, because obviously you already have your own cleave, so the extra damage is nice. You usually go for stats, so actually Empower hits you a lot. I mean, the PA is also great against IO, to be honest. There's so many things they have to cover. And they even have to cover IO counters like Disruptor, for example, which they just banned now. Interesting, Void ban.
Boyd's good.
I mean,
too.
that is a Lumiere hero, so
Yeah.
I guess that's also partially why.
It has its
mean,
hits
they-
and misses versus the IO for sure. You don't want to get like relocate saved, but sometimes you catch both and you're like, nice save, nerd. So it's all right.
Yeah, that's true.
They can play really fast with the Luna.
Oh,
Oh,
Which is
fuck.
Production, is he good? Can they hear him? Welcome back,
Ah.
winner.
hey Winter, we missed you.
It's true.
What'd you just say? I was only listening to your beautiful voice.
Yeah, like against all this like PA, like I think as a Luna and Io, you can choose to just like go for like a really quick draft, like just keep pushing. I don't really see the bench pick going with this kind of lineups a lot nowadays, but that's something that I would tend to go for. If I don't get to ban the PA, I don't have enough bans, and I have to deal with him, I will go for those kind of lineup. Just try to play faster than the PA.
I like that idea actually. I would love to see the bench lineup. But
Ha-
judging
have
by
you
the Ursa
seen-
ban, maybe not.
Have you seen any partners against PA recently?
Any what?
Pugnus? No.
Partners, yeah.
Pugnus? No, we have not seen any Pugnus. No.
Has the hero got like nerf a lot? Didn't see the hero so much.
People don't like him
No, I
as much
think it
anymore.
got buffed, right?
Yeah, he got small buffs. Like
So-
the ward is better now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the whole
Nice.
rework to the ultimate, which I guess was like a decent time ago, but I feel like he hasn't been played that much since the ulti got shortened by so much.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like the anti-physical damage hero.
Okay, so they pick up Bane Trent as opposed to the Winter Wyvern.
That's great.
Yeah, just a good hero, right?
The lane is much better than the Wyvern. Wyvern is always great against those kind of IO lineups, but the laning phase is atrocious. I hate playing Wyvern in the lane. Every time they bully me, I feel so sad. I have to try to start with sentries so that I make sure I can pull. Then the other guy is stronger than me. He body blocks the cam. Then I feel like shit.
Yeah, and every position 4 is like a good laner right now, right? These like snaps and weavers and all those kind of
Yeah,
heroes.
you
Everyone's
can't
playing
you
like
can't
that.
fight anybody. So sad.
Then you're Bane.
Yep.
Just like,
Bane is much more solid. Yeah, I agree.
all right. So what's
I,
our twosome pick here then? You see all of this as NoPing. I assume we're saving our mid, so we probably need our 3 and our 4 here to lane against a Bane +1 mystery hero.
What would be good here?
Just pick,
The Ursa ban.
just pick pushing. There's no Tide, there's no Mars, but there's Beastmaster. I would go for Beastmaster with Luna if I want to push.
Okay, and you play a bit tempo.
Yeah, or LC. LC is pretty good against the Mac and the Bane.
I like the Beastmaster for the Vision
Oh.
versus Bane and Snapfire too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canceling Fiend Script relatively easy once you get the shard as
Oh,
well.
I hate the dive bomb, man. I always
Yeah,
forget
that's
about. I always forget about it, and then I'm like, wait, what the heck? I'm stunned. Oh
Yep.
shit, I'm dead.
I've seen so many Beastmasters today. I was casting Eastern Europe, and there were just dive bombs everywhere. And it
Yeah.
makes that little deny notification, so I kept getting confused, thinking heroes were getting denied somehow, and I was like, what is happening? I was like, oh yeah, just birds. Just
Hey, it's
plummeting
one of
to their
those-
doom.
One of those things that you don't really remember all the time. You just randomly get stunned, and then, oh, the hawk, and then I'm dead.
Whoa! AoE
Interesting.
Dispel versus Empower. That's cool.
Yeah, that's nice. He's very
guess-
similar with the like Tide Mars kind of hero, where in the team fight the Luna's just hitting the tower, and you have someone that you can stand there, and the opposing team cannot really get to the Luna.
Right. Is the idea as well that you counter Magnus lineups because you cyclone whoever's empowered on top of Master Spell, and you can kind of take him for a ride.
Yeah, it's also very annoying for the Bane. You know, cast your ultimate.
Yeah. That's true.
Makes this pick a little bit hard for your position 1 too, though. Has to be an early-ish BKB, right? Because you don't want to get tossed up the whole fight by Brewmaster. Just be sad. And now you can just like cull Brewmaster. This is a bad matchup for Brew. Although actually, statistically, interestingly enough, on Dota Buff, I actually think Sven is the worst hero, or the worst hero to play into Brew,
Interesting.
which I thought
I
was
wonder that's
surprising.
because Brews just play well Sven and they like pop ulti before and cyclone him, right? And it makes Sven's life really hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I was very surprised by that. I thought Sven would be all about that matchup, but maybe they're just not as good at coordinating and getting like the burst down when you're playing in pubs. 'Cause, like, in pro games, it feels really good. But maybe I'm totally wrong because that stat doesn't seem to be popping up when I search it now. So ignore everything I just said. Clearly, that was about some other matchup when I messed it up.
Okay, that's fine.
Perfect. That's what we'd like to hear.
Let's look at the final bans then. NoPing, they both need mid laners here, but last pick goes to Infamous. Here's where you want to pick a mid laner that, well, doesn't lose or just a generic one. What is your ideas there, Winter? What midders do you pick that can't lose the lane?
They need a tower defender of some sort, someone that can stall, cannot lose lane.
Why is
Lina?
Kunkka still in, dude?
Puck? Yeah, I think Puck. Puck's okay.
Good Puck.
Lina's okay. They need some wave clear because right now, the Sven is busy hitting ancients. No one's actually clearing creeps quickly. Snapfire is not enough. Magnus
Oh,
is
so you're
not
thinking
enough.
about Infamous then, their pick?
Oh, yeah, talking about NoPing.
Yeah, because Infamous has
okay.
last pick, so I guess they'll just wait to see, right?
NoPing, they probably need a initiator. They don't have initiator now. Like Brew is a good counter initiator, but it would be nice if someone can go in first. So Puck again. Puck can disrupt the fight. He can start the fight for them. Is there Storm? Oh no, Storm's banned.
Yeah, Storm ban.
I mean, Ember's there, Void Spirit's there, the classic ones. You can't really go wrong with those heroes.
I feel like Ember looks kind of good for Infamous as well. Like, get an empowered Ember as well as the Sven. These poor Brewlings.
Yeah? But you also have the Master Spell to get rid of the Flame Guard, though.
I mean, the issue right now is I see this Luna, he doesn't really have like a... There's so many lockdowns that he doesn't have a Dispel for him at the moment. He's just gonna have to rely on the relocate to get his ass out if he's ever in trouble.
Yep. I mean, now they have a bit of stun with Void Spirit to bring someone down, but you're right that there's a lot of lockdown for Infamous. And you always have the Skewer combo here.
Yeah, they have a really sharp timing that they want to achieve here with this kind of lineup. Probably around like minute 20, 25. They have to try to... They have to try to, you know, get the rush and then try to siege. They are basically gonna have to be on the offensive this game.
You know, I was actually hoping they'd pivot into like a mid Doom or something. That would have been kind of hype.
I think the Ember's solid here, though.
That would be nice against the Brew.
Yeah, but Ember's safe. Like, much safe.
Yeah. Void Spirit,
Also,
Ember Spirit, those heroes are like, you go for those heroes when your mid laner's like, I'm not sure if there's anything better, just go for the safe picks.
Look, with Alone's history, I'd rather they have the Ember, who is forced to rotate and do things, than Doom, where I feel like if he could, he would buy 2 Midases, and that would be his game plan. So, the less greedy heroes, sometimes you want to condition your mid laner to go and help your team to a degree. We're going to have to see, however, guys, because this game is going to be starting soon. Predictions here, Winter, Trent?
I think it's gonna be a real close one, but I kind of favor the Sven draft a little bit more. I think they have the tools to be able to drag on and defend their towers and win the fights. If the Luna had a save like a LC or something to help him, or Beastmaster, then I'll probably go with the draft. I think the Brew and the Luna, they have less chance of making mistakes in the game, so it'll be harder for them.
Yeah, I think it is harder. I'm gonna believe in Brew because it's one of my favorite heroes. I never get to see it. It is actually a kind of good game because the toss is nice if you can focus down the Sven. So let's see if NoPing can do it.
All right. On one hand, Winter, doubtful of the potential of the Brew. On the other hand, Trent, fanboying for the Brew. Yeah. What's going to happen? We're going to have to see. Let's go into the game with our wonderful casters, Gareth and Lacoste.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you're right, guys. Lots of interesting matchups here. The Battle of the Spirits, the Void versus Ember, the Sven and Luna, the Masters of Farming. Lacoste, do you lean one way or the other?
If you remove the names of the players, I would definitely lean towards Infamous's draft because they have like nothing that goes through spell immunity. So once this Sven comes online, it's gonna be very hard for them to deal with him, and he has like a good way to buff him up. You have empowered. It's not like he needs it, but it's gonna help. Like it's not like there's a downside to it. I don't feel good for Brewmaster. I've seen this hero a couple of times. I just don't feel like he's the good fit in the meta right now. He's so ulti dependent. You use 1 or 2 ultis. If you don't get anything done, the hero's just dead. Like, I don't think you can play Yoda. And you're playing against Ember Spirit with Sleight of Fist plus Empower, also Cleave plus Empower. I don't think he's going to have a good time. I think
and RP and Fiend's Grip. There's so many ways to control them as well, right?
Yeah, they have like Io, but Io wants to be tethered to Luna, so this is not gonna be a save for Brewmaster. Also, I want to see what the item build is gonna be. I see Urn, so that's a good thing. I'm a big fan. Last time I saw it on the offlane, I believe it was twice yesterday. A Meteor Hammer, not very effective, especially if you don't have any kind of stuns. Also, there's not enough lockdown for for Ember Spirit, so a bit worried about that. You know, Dark Willow, she provides some remnant as well, but he should be okay. When I talk about the mid game fights, Brewmaster, he might need to like preemptively use a split. There's going to be a lot of value from the Dispel mechanic, Dispel the Empower, Dispel the Shield, Flame Guard, and also Dispel Warcry. So if you like, he needs the micro. This Brewmaster needs to pop off.
It sounds like there's a lot of things that have to go right for NoPing, while Infamous much more easy to execute across the board. Does that mean you need to see NoPing pop off in the lanes and have a good laning stage, or do you think they've got ways to split push with this Luna IO to kind of get back into the game if things go badly for them?
Seeing how NoPing played with Io Luna, I've been really impressed. What they do, RDO on a carry position, I don't think he makes many mistakes, and KJ on Io, they feel very stable. I don't see Magnus and Snapfire winning this lane, but we'll see how it goes. It's very hard to lane into Io in general. If you're don't have enough damage to burst him immediately, it's just pain in the ass. And Luna, one of the strongest laners right now, and like heroes that always feel good no matter what the hell is happening in the game. Having Luna, you can like always do something as a carry. She's not one-dimensional like some of the other carries.
Yeah, she can move and hit towers, clear ancients, clear waves, like sit mid lane and just hold on to your tier 1 there. And she's got a lot up her sleeve. There's lots to talk about this game, honestly. We've already seen like a D-ward down bottom by the Radiant. They cleared out the Dire Observer. But they've also got a Radiant Observer in that Dire triangle blocking up the Ancient camp as well, something that I don't usually see. An Observer, not a Sentry. Blocking up that camp.
It's gonna take a while until that gets devoted. They understand how strong Sven is with Empower. So that's gonna be like what they need to go in and possibly try to take fights in the triangle. Not necessarily at this point, but having vision and see if the like big camps are being stacked. Void Spirit, like he's not the best hero to clear those big camp stacks with. But also I want to talk about Void Spirit against Ember Spirit matchup. Before Void Spirit was, I think, my go-to deep strongest spirit, but seeing how a lot of the games have been played out, when I checked, I think it was a week ago, at the start of the DPC, Ember Spirit was 5-0 against Void Spirit.
Yeah, we had a similar discussion at TI, didn't we? Where Ember Spirit was like unplayed, then he went like 5-0 because Abed was analog. Yeah, he's okay. Because then Abed won like 4 games in a row on him. People started copying him. Then Ember went 5-13. Void Spirit and I guess Storm Spirit were the 2 strongest ones. Now it's complete reversal, where we've seen Void Spirit fall off a little bit. Currently, pretty much even in the CS department between the two, though. Both going to get themselves a Water Rune early on. And then that third lane, up top, Brew, Dark Willow against a Sven Bane. Oh, man, if I was either of these Radiant heroes, I'd be crying tears. Like, support laning against Bane feels bad. Trying to defeat a Sven who's just whacking you, and he's got a Stormhammer to set up.
I don't think Brewmaster
like a great lane for the Radiant.
Die in this lane, nor Dark Willow. They could be the one playing aggressively. Sven still keeping 2 points in case he wants to, like, start harassing Brewmaster with the cleave, have an extra point in Storehammer if they feel like there's an opportunity, if there's an opening, so they can set up a kill. But still, in terms of kills, like once they hit level 3 on NoPing, I think they can start playing a bit more aggressively. Urn is already done, so with the Cinder Brew, I mean, you need a charge, but you can easily ignite that with the Bramble Maze.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. Well, Courier goes down bottom. Michael loses it to KJ. There was also, KJ gets cook-eaten and skewered right under that tier 1 tower, and down he goes for first blood. The final touch is there from Sacred, helped out by the tower.
Nicely executed.
Little grab there.
Cookie in front, skewer in the back. Who got the first blood? Was it Magnus? They shared the gold.
It's Magnus.
Okay. But Magnus going for mana boots. He wants to be able to kill in this lane, going for shockwave build, which is a correct choice. Void Spirit managed to pick up a water rune. They're still chasing.
They don't have chains. Just Sleight of Fist with a Blightstone. Nice cookie there. Attempted dodge by Analog. But even with the stick charges, he will go down. Now it's down to Analog stealing that dire bounty rune as well. He moved off to the right-hand side, spotted and chased down by that Snapfire across the map.
Huge rotation from Snapfire. This means Ember Spirit will hit level 6, while Void Spirit will still be level 4.
Magnus takes a Lucent Beam to the back of the head. Needs to tango himself up. And I guess Michael now has realized that the Ancients camp is blocked. So he'll make
Would you realize
a bit of a move here for the large camp.
There, Gary?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I personally wouldn't because I am stupid. But I absolutely have 100% faith in Michael.
Michael has a Sentry Ward queued up. And now this is where the problems start. You can't kill Luna. You spam the spells. Luna's gonna be like full HP. Snapfire made a rotation, which was a good one, but this also opens up the lane for Luna, and you're spamming the spell. 11 magic 1 charges, once that combined with Io's healing, his stick, and the Fairy Fire. It's almost impossible to take down Luna. One of the reasons why this hero and combination of these two heroes is super popular.
Incredibly strong with Wand and Shreds. You can't really catch KJ because he's just going to tether away. So instead, contest the pull, grab up a little bit of CS on your way through. Some big stacks being made over in that dire jungle, though. You see Axel. Look at Bane go to work. So he's going to stack and guard that top rune, try and make sure that Theo and Analog can't make their way over there. Well, spawn bottom anyway, but you also have the Snapfire rotating in. 6 minutes, they've got both supports guarding runes, so much more active from Infamous to give this mid lane a better time.
This is big. If Michael can get on top of Analog before he gets level 6, there's the Siege Creep unit. Oh, he gets the Deny.
Ooh, Deny?
He's level 6. If we tilt the monitor, that's level 6.
He's literally 1 XP away, hey? Sad times for Analog.
Gotta use the gravity.
Clear this camp. Should move to Australia. Theo, after moving in towards mid, then back towards top, he's not quite sure where he should be. Sven has ditched the top lane, leaving Bane to lap a bit of that experience up. Clear through some of these juicy stacks. Oh, look at him go. God's strength, he's level 6. Got himself treads. Even attempting a stack of his own. Not quite working. A good attempt.
Value from Tumbler's Toy. Jumps, gets from one camp to the second one faster. Just pure value out of the item. He's gonna keep it for himself. Most of the time, tier 1 items, if you find it, you keep it.
The dive top. I got the Bane. So 2 little moves there being made. There was Ember Spirit moving into that bottom Radiant jungle, scouted 3 heroes, just remnanted away. Then Brewmaster, of course, diving that top tier 1, gets the Bane kill and allows them to push with a huge wave plus catapult. So first objective should be going to NoPing there, opening up the map for themselves. And once you do that, it's such a nice place for your Luna to shift up the top half of the map and start playing there.
She can start playing around the triangle, she can start playing top. There is a bit of vision, but they need to set some things up in the outpost area for Dire to see Sven's rotations and where Sven is farming and any kind of rotations coming out from there, because this is where Infamous wants to smoke. There's gonna be someone on the top lane trying to push out the wave. If it's Luna, you want to play around that area.
Some supreme rune control here from Infamous as well. Pretty much getting all the active runes for this Ember Spirit as they guarded top. He rounded down bottom for the DD, has his Javelin already. Analog is full HP, full mana, so not really under threat of dying just yet. Infamous looking to get level 6 on their Snap. Try and get a bit more XP on their Bane as well, because Grip plus Kisses allows their 2 supports to roam around and open up kills on pretty much anybody.
I like that every single time I see KJ play Io, he always goes for mech, pretty much. I've seen different item builds. Either it's Holy Locket or mech. I feel once you hit that mech, it's a big timing, especially with the chip damage. Once you try to like siege, there's gonna be a lot of sleight of fists from Ember Spirit. Oh, look at those stacks being cleared right now by Infamous.
Ardio's pausing because he's like, those bastards are doing what in my triangle? They're invading and taking my creeps? You look at Dire Triangle, it's full of creeps. There's a large camp that's like 6 stacked or something. Radiant Triangle. If Infamous get both of this, I don't know, that's a lot of money, Lacoste. Do you not do the maths on that?
No, we're not doing that on stream, but check Dire's Triangle. Look at the big camp.
That's what I mean. Like, if you add all of these camps together, Radiant and Dire Triangle, that's a lot of money. We need Texas Instruments to come in and hand us a calculator as they RP onto that Void Spirit, and down he goes with a chain stuns from the cookie. So, large camp secured, stolen. Kill on the mid lane, taken. Theo Lacour nearly dying. Remnant defensive there from Alone as they loosen Beam and Curse Crown attempting to take him down. He's going to slide dodge, jump away. Beautifully done, but it's into the Brewmaster. Monster is there to zone him back into KJ and RDO.
NoPing said sec Discord. Maybe the thing was that they were trying to tell Void Spirit to go back out of that area on Discord and he wasn't listening. So they needed to fix that. Unfortunately, in the end, he dies. So right now, Void Spirit is 0-2-0. Can they get this kill? Would need to use Split, but it's a tough one. I don't think you want to commit to it.
Yeah, there's a Bane lurking around as well. He's only level 4, but if he had a Nightmare there, would have delayed the push forward. So while that's all happening,
Sven level 11, 10 minutes in. I saw, who was it?
What?
It was Shad Kunkka, who was level 21 or level 22, 21 or 22 minutes in. So he kept one level per minute. It's insane. And then he couldn't keep up. Like the XP that you need to get to level 23 to level 24 is just too high.
You got to keep on accelerating. Well, NoPing trying to break themselves out of this. Smoking up with Monster.
Oh, this is
leading
big kill.
forward with
this
a primal split. If they can take down the Sven.
Reload, it's 100% kill. Give it to Luna.
Yeah. Highest net worth hero on the map taken out. Courier also sniped by KJ. And this should lead into that mid lane push. But they've got TPs arriving. Sacred Magnus with a mech. Michael has the Mortimer's Kisses. Tier 1 at around half HP as Bane starts things out. There's the kisses coming. Monster
grip
dragged back into the Fiend's Grip as well. Good pick on the Brew and now disengage. Just hold out, defend your objective. That's the key goal here. Theo Lacour might get tagged by a slight chains. We'll see if they can finish off the Dark Willow. Yeah, should be reasonably simple with Axel the Bane, position 5, getting a double kill.
Not something you want to, but he'll take it. He'll get his mana boots faster. I'm okay with the Brewmaster gameplay so far. He managed to get all the involvement from Primal Split. 2 times he used it, 2 times he got a lot from it. First time he got the tower and a kill. Second time he got a kill on Sven, which is pretty big. It still lack a bit of a tower damage unless there's Luna hitting the tower. I don't think you feel so much comfortable just hitting the tower if everyone else is alive. Before you get a BKB. Once you get a BKB, gonna be a different story. Analog going in.
He's gonna dodge this one. Nightmare save. Curse Crown still there. Cookie forward. Alone's gonna slide back as the Shadow Realm hides the Dark Willow, but burnt. So that Remnant jump back. Every time Infamous make that first step, it feels like they get kills and there's no real answer from NoPing.
This Sven's gigantic. He has BKB if he wants to disassemble Echo Saber and then go back to it. If they want to hit this timing, I think you just keep the Echo Saber for now. I don't think BKB timing. If they siege a tier 1 tower, I think it's okay to disassemble it and just have a bit more security because they have no abilities that go through magic immunity.
You remember back in the day when we used to talk about like Anti-Mage and Spectre and Naga farming and we would talk about 10xing?
Not real. 10xing?
Like 10 last hits per minute.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, Sven has 170 CS at 13 minutes. It's insane amounts of farm. Okay, these are like neutral creeps, he's been clearing camps, but
it's very hard to compare like any of the items because it game changed so much from back in the days. But yeah, he has that BKB if he wants to unlock it. He unlocks
What's he gonna do? There it is. And the rest of his team smoked up in front of him. KJ warding up the triangle, gonna get found by the Ember Spirit. Alone, so easily on top of him, and the timing of that cookie to stop the tether, beautifully done by Michael as well. Dark Willow scrambling to clear that mid wave to try and stop any kind of push into that objective. But it looks like the top lane is where they're heading. Sven has already cleared the path in front of them. But NoPing, they've got a different idea of what's about to happen. They don't want to give up this tower. They want to go and fight themselves. There's the Brewmaster and the Void Spirit straight onto the Bane. Axel down, tower defended. Primal Split did get expended, and Monster's looking for that +1. Can he get the Magnus? Where's the rest of his squad? They are coming in from the back, but there's a Sven with a God Strength and a BKB ready to battle. Relocate forward, puts the Luna there in front of Sacred. They get RP'd up though. Sacred with that Eclipse on him does die. The Mother's Kiss is well placed. But there's no Sven. There's no backup. Now Lumiere's joined in. Double taps Theo Lacoste. Stormhammers as well. With a God Strength, he will get a kill. There's another stun on Analog on Monster as well. This Void Spirit and Brewmaster are getting blasted. The great.
Oh,
great
Nightmare save.
Nightmare save.
Oh,
Michael's still dead to the urn. Damage over time, and Monster stunned. Stormhammer comes with a high ground observer ward given by the Bane. Beautifully placed. And 2 core kills plus a support. Infamous get the better trade as Alone also kills off KJ.
KJ also, this is big, like this is huge for Infamous. Bane setting things up with the ward. Sven hesitating there, did not want to fully commit. Void Spirit, I mean, Analog, he's not having a game. I think it's a tough situation for him because your Brewmaster is not going for any kind of like initiation item, and until he gets Aghanim Scepter, he can't just preemptively use Primal Split. So he needs to be the one initiating, putting himself in a bad spot with using either Astral Step or double Astral Step, which he did use on Bane, and then had only one left, used it. Suddenly he's out of spells, gets even Fiend's Grip, which was not necessary considering that everything else was on cooldown, but they still got a kill.
Yeah, they got both of them in the end. It was well done by Sacred as well. You know, he has that mech. He survived a little bit longer than the Radiant expected. Got a good, 3-man RP. Was able to drag that fight out a little bit longer. KJ and RDO very, very forward in terms of where they are on the map right now. This is dire territory, and the smoke will lead to them finding the IO, but he's tethered back to the Luna, very distant. The pig pole allows them to escape, and Luna is out of there, ever so barely. Clipping onto KJ, though. Sleight of fist, though.
And now you have Snapfire with completed Solar Crest, so that's another buff for your Sven on top of Empower. It's looking scary. 3k gold lead. Big timing for Infamous is going to be picking up 2 Blink Daggers. One on Sven, one on Magnus. Also, Ember Spirit getting very close to his BKB. And then once those BKBs are up, they can freely just go in and delete any target. Lock onto one target and completely delete it. Panel talked about, and we mentioned how Brewmaster's Brewlings are not going to be very effective against Sven with Empower and also Sleight of Fist with Empower. That's a ton of damage. They're really not tanky early on.
At what point do you think RDO has enough physical damage? Like, what item do you look for in this Luna? Because she just disassembled Dragonlance into BKB.
And has my favorite
Ember Spirit,
quick buy, 4 Ogre Axes. You go back to Dragonlance as well, because the item's too valuable to pass on Luna. I think they can still take a fight. It's just that Brewmaster needs to control one of the heroes in the backlines. He needs to stop the grip with either Boulder or a Cyclone. Most of the time you want to use it on Sven, so he's completely out of the fight. I think if Infamous gets the first jump, they win a fight.
So we'll look to that Monster Brewmaster. And if you can control the Sven, maybe even before that BKB would be ideal. Tier 2 neutral items. Lumiere grabs a load of them, but mid lane, they've got the Bane caught up. Dissimulates on him. Axel down. Monster wants this tower. sends his Bruling straight onto it, and the Storm Bruling also looking in towards the back lines. Cyclones the Magnus. Oh, that's the Blink reveal as well. So no Blink RP coming just yet. And there goes the tier 1. Oh, Sacred. He goes for the RP, Shockwave Skewer, drags the Luna back, but Ardio has a BKB. In comes Alone and Lumiere. They're chasing the Luna down, but she is out of there. They've got to switch targets. Monster's popped his second primal split. They're on to Analog now, but Void Spirit is a slippery devil. He's holding the high ground, just standing on top of the staircase. And now what, Infamous? You're dealing with a Luna who's tethered up with his Io, relocated back into Lumiere. Sven cleaves into Io and looks for Ardio now. Skewered back into Alone and Axel.
Oh, great save.
The Nightmare save, beautiful. Oh, Axel, what a move to keep that Ember Spirit alive.
Dark Willow, they overuse their abilities to kill a position 5 Bane in the mid lane, and there was no need for Terrorize. They already used one split, and they kind of lack that Terrorize to control the team fight post BKBs. Once Sven's goes in, as we already said, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing to control him. So during the BKB duration, he can do whatever the hell he wants. Same goes for Ember Spirit. So they need to be able to either have a buyback on one of the heroes that they lock onto and kill, because it's pretty easy to kill them, or they need to kite. Like, they need to reload them out, which is not that easy. Sven is just too much damage in short period of time.
Yeah, and it comes back to what you were saying earlier, right? There's lots of little aspects here that NoPing have to get right. You talk about the Brewmaster controlling one of those heroes, potential buybacks they need, the Io has to be with that Luna with a full, full wand, the mech to go as well. As Alone's going to BKB, chains up these Void Spirit and the Dark Willow here. They've forced him to BKB, and oh my god, okay, Theo just dies. Okay.
Also not a big fan of Dark Willow's skill build. 4 points in Shadow Realm. You're more about that control. Bramble Maze, duration, scales. You want to control the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit was so close to dying. Like, if you have a bit of an extra damage, a bit of an extra lockdown to keep him in place, so Luna and Void Spirit can deal damage. Like, she's very underleveled. Level 8 compared to, like, Snapfire's level 11, level 12 after the book is consumed.
Underfarmed as well, right? 3,200 compared to the Snap's 5.6. So now we're looking at, you said the Solar Crest already, but Blink Dagger is like 2/3 completed. And Infamous got to feel pretty strong with their position right now. Just put Lumiere onto objectives, get him towards tier 2 towers. Start considering Roshan soon, though. 21 minutes in, you've got to be thinking about the big man in the cave, and that's why the Dire are scanning Roche, maybe expecting NoPing to go in there and sneak it.
Because they're showing a lot of heroes bottom. You see Sven with Solar Crest and Empower on, you know that they are sitting behind him. Io Luna ready to relocate. Let's see the split.
Oh, Sacred. There's the Yules on Sacred. He's got a Remnant out. Onto Alone, though. He tanks it for the Magnus. Still holding the mech. Sacred inside the Eclipse. Going to get burst down by Ardio's Luna. And Lumiere struggling a little bit here to stick on a target. Going to go for the BKB TP, and it looks like it should be successful. Gets the hell out. A 1-for-1 trade. A good initiation from NoPing, but a good retreat from Infamous equally. Can they find any additional kills, though, with a Cyclone into that Remnant? It looks like they'll find the Bane, but they lose the Brew to Alone. This Ember Spirit shreds through them. The duo core here from Infamous proving so valuable as these Sleights of Fist are cleaving through NoPing. He's even going to Remnant forward aggressively. No BKB and no mana left, but in comes Sven to look for the Wisp. Io's down, KJ's gone, and the Luna left stranded. No one to save her. Analog, what's he got left in the tank? A Dissimilate, not even ready.
Once again, they fall for this Trixie Bane, who dies twice, but manages to almost fully team wipe NoPing. That fight was close. Like, if Brewmaster dies, he was left at 70 HP. Grip was cancelled, and he couldn't... so he used one of the splits. He needs to use it preemptively. Like, he needs to pop it. If he gets gripped, if he gets jumped on, it's gonna be a whole lot of a different story. So Sven has Orchid, so that means he has a bit more control against the Void Spirit. If Fuel Scepter is used on himself a bit before, or aggressively on someone else, Brewmaster has that split again.
Yeah,
and this Nightmare lasts forever.
Yeah, he's just stuck there for absolutely ages. Roshan down, Lumiere gets the Aegis. And Bane going to get focused here by the Primal Split. He's got another Nightmare and a Cookie to get to high ground. Axel, Nightmare's the Fire Panda. Brain Sap's another one. Can they save him? There's Michael here, and Spirit. It's going to end soon. Monster. He's got the Aghanim, so he can drag back to the Storm Panda. Well played by him. But honestly, that bottom... Wait, hang on a second. Is Brew... Yeah, Brew's fine. That bottom fight felt like it was almost identical to the fight that was north of Roshan, the previous one, right? They go on Magnus. Yeah. That first fight, he got a big RP. This one, he just died. But the ability for Infamous to drag the fight out, extend it, and move your opponents away from towers, away from objectives, has been superb. With Sven and Ember just rejoining over and over again. There's the IO. Well, he gets away from the Horn Toss, but he can't escape from the Sven and the Snapfire.
Horn Toss, now it's 100% move slow and attack slow instead of the stun, which is pretty big. It's a rough one for NoPing. Like, I don't think Luna can solo carry this. Void Spirit is so far behind, trying to farm the Aghanim Scepter to be able to deal with Snapfire and Bane, because these are the targets they want to delete immediately. It's just not enough control. There's not enough, like, jump power to be able to go to the back lines. Brewmaster has E on disc right now, so that means he will be able to get his ulti off in a team fight.
Ember Spirit chasing Void Spirit. Not going to find him. Analog's away in the trees. So how much of this lead do you think comes down to that Radiant Triangle invasion by Infamous? You know, they clear out the large camp on Ember Spirit. Sven clears out his own triangle. Is that the amount of gold you're expecting, you know, the Void or the Luna would have to keep them in the game?
It's significant, but I don't think it's, like, game-changing compared to what they drafted. You have Brewmaster.
And the execution.
I just don't feel this hero is good. Maybe
okay.
I'm wrong. I've seen it fail so many times. Right now, they're being scouted by the reward, which just expired, so they feel really safe. Sven, with Aegis, I don't think they can go on him. Level 21, Warcry armor, that needs to be dispelled. Right now, that is 25. You heard that correctly, 25 armor.
25? That's a lot of armor. Brew and Willow playing just offset from the Luna IO. Trying to trade places on the map here. But Bane is causing some issues. He's just lurking around, nightmaring people, looking to set up onto anyone they can find. Theo into the Shadow Realm.
Wait.
It looks like Infamous a little bit afraid. They didn't know what was up the high ground. They were thinking it was a bait, I think.
No skewer. Horn Toss is not a stun
cookie
anymore, so it doesn't stop it. Cookie would do the trick.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Someone made the call to halt activity. Not go on the Dark Willow there. Vision for the Radiant spots the Bane and the Sven. Axel will clear one of them, but still one observer remains just outside of sentry range. Now it feels like a game of cat and mouse, a bit of split push action for NoPing. Analog cutting waves. Bot. Luna trying to find any space. And Monster. Primal splits as well.
I feel you were not watching what I was watching, Gary.
Oh, I was watching Analog trying his best to make space on the map.
There's the grip on him.
There it is, and Sven's TPing. Who else is arriving? Ember Spirit with an Aghanim's upgraded Remnant, super long range. Yule Scepter and an Astral Step and Assimilate maybe, but the Orchid, Lumiere has the silence before the Void Spirit could even pull the trigger on his escape abilities.
Everyone upgraded to digital Void Spirit. He's still playing analog. Maybe that's why he's not doing so well.
Very good. Very good. Is it high ground time?
It is. Aegis 30 seconds. I think you pop the ulti here with Sven and just beat the tower.
Radiant structures are
well, it forces the glyph at the very least. What is the defense plan for NoPing? Void Spirit's gone for 15 seconds. So that's 15 seconds of Sven destroying and annihilating every single member of your team. Theo and Monster dead, with buybacks though. They're going to use it, but I think this is a lane of racks gone regardless of what you attempt to do. Alone trying
another
to find
Horn
anyone.
Toss.
There's the Horn Toss skewer. Sacred drags the Dark Willow in, just brought back, and Theo Lacoste dies back as Analog jumps straight onto the Snapfire, but Michael's pretty tanky, while Alone and Lumiere, they're just bursting through KJ. IO gone, Audio's got himself a BKB still. but struggling to find anyone that he can actually continue to hit. Now the Sven with no Aegis and no BKB, though, is a big kill to take if they can just find him, but the RP! Sacred stops them in their tracks, allows the turnaround from Lumiere, the cleave and the damage comes through. RDO finally kills the Sven, but at what cost? They'll lose everybody for it. The Brew and the Luna will try their hardest, but down they'll go. Monster stuck in between 4 infamous heroes, and Luna's buyback. Well, that doesn't feel too good.
Oh, it really doesn't. Like, they managed to kill Sven, but the great RP, Sacred was so patient when it lands at 3-man. He was also, like, skewering the back. Dark Willow, just not a hero in this game. Like, she has Shard. I didn't see any big terrorize ultis. Most of the time, you either want to stop Bane's ulti, or at this point of the game, you need to play for that RP. Like, this is your counter initiation to RP.
Yeah. Try and defend the Luna and the IO.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
A minute and a half until potential spawn on Roshan, so a bit of breathing room here potentially for NoPing. Especially with Sven dead for another 30 seconds. So they can go out and clear bottom wave. Maybe plant themselves on the map when Brewmaster's alive. And they've got some good vision here in their triangle to make a hold out of their mid and top lanes at the very least. It really has been a rough one for Theo, you're right. I mean, I keep forgetting how poor she is. Looking at the inventory right now. Tranquils, Voidstone, Magic Wand.
Why is he still called Tioli Core? Can change the name to Tioli Support, right? Make more sense.
I think they said Tioli Poor.
Well, that can work as well.
Sad times. Yeah, I like this move still. You know, you're down, you're behind, you know that the game is slipping out of your hands. You come out of your base, you get some vision down, you know that you want to play here. You want to play around Roshan. This is one of the best chances you have to sit on your triangle, hope for the best. But it's also an obvious one, as is signaled there by the snap, drawing the big circle around every hero of NoPing. And a smoke straight across the map as well. And again, 20 seconds before fast Roche spawn. Who will they find? Ether Remnant on the high ground. Blink past it. Straight in with a skewer. They've caught out Monster, and he's all silenced up. It is, and he gets the primal split out there as KJ being focused down and killed off by Alone. Ember Spirit gets the first kill of the fight, and they've also managed to isolate Chains Up onto 2 core heroes. Void Spirit and Luna able to dispatch with the Bane at least, but now it's TP home time until the RP comes.
There's no Sven.
Sacred arrives, and the kisses come. They don't need the Sven Lacoste. They've got the damage and control they need. Burst through that buyback Luna, dead for a minute and a half. Now Sven can focus on the primal split instead. Monster's Brewlings last a grand total of 1.5 seconds. And his Earth Panda waddling away, slowly retreating. Michael and Lumiere have got his number though, with a final touch. No, they don't kill him off. He's actually popped back into his normal form. He's kiting. He's baiting them away from his base. They're not hitting towers. That's a victory for Monster. TP successful. Cancels the
canceled
TP.
Give him the high
What's he
five.
doing?
Okay.
Look. Oh, come on, high five him, please. Oh, he's dancing around Sven. He's pirouetting and dropping his shoulder, but Bane's TP will force him away, and a TP from KJ relocate him back to Fountain. But in the meantime, you look at that mid lane, it is gone.
Oh, I mean, in that fight, Sven didn't deal any damage. He misused his BKB. The rest of the damage was dealt pretty much by Ember Spirit, who's gigantic. Oh, the big horn toss.
He's got him. 3 heroes dragged in because of the tether as well, so KJ's put himself in harm's way.
Yeah, they called
Another
it.
sweep through. NoPing tap out. Infamous. A great burst of moves and plays in that mid game. Some beautiful execution. But yeah, Lacoste, questions about the draft of NoPing?
Yeah, I mean, they go with the same stuff every single time when it's available. Io Luna, this Brewmaster needed to be something else, some kind of a lockdown that goes through magic immunity, either like a Legion Commander, Beastmaster, something like that, so you can get a lockdown on Sven, because Sven had pretty easy game. Like he was not contested during his BKB timing, and Ember Spirit, he completely popped off. The rotation from Snapfire, killing the Void Spirit, then once again he dies. Void Spirit was kind of not felt in this game compared to Ember Spirit, and Ember Spirit once again prevails.
It's like you think about, net worth to damage as quite an easy metric to figure out how impactful someone was in a game, a core hero in particular. Analog, Ardio, Monster, they all had, 15,000 net worth or so, doing around 15 to 17,000 damage apiece. Alone, 20,000 net worth, sure, it's a bit of an increase, but he did 50,000 damage on that Ember Spirit. Beautiful performance from Alone on the Ember. Like, I don't know, we could add up the numbers, but he basically did the same amount of damage as the whole NoPing team. Ridiculous stuff. But with that, game one, Infamous take it. We'll pass it back to the panel, see what Avo and the boys think about what could come in the remainder of the series.
What a game number one, honestly, by Infamous. We've been talking up this team for a while. They don't prove it right. They don't prove us right. They want to make us look bad. But then today, they popped off. I mean, maybe NoPing should consider changing strategies because, what is the saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, still shame on... No, fool me once, shame on you.
Almost
there. Fool me thrice, don't throw a shoe, right? That's how it goes, yeah. And obviously, Infamous didn't really... Infamous just kind of destroyed the Luna strat. The Sven idea worked really great. And Trent, look, I love Brewmaster too, but yeah, that was an oof game.
There's a reason why I preface my love of Brew. I know he's bad, guys. There's another saying, Avo. If it is broke, fix it.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That one you don't hear as often. And I think maybe Brew's a little broken in a bad way, and I think maybe Io Luna's a little broken, at least for NoPing. I think I just have to try something else,
I mean, I'm not sure why they went with the Brew that game, because I felt like it could have been player hero preference. Like he just really wanted to play the hero. I think we saw in the game there was a lot of ancient raids by the Dire. When I feel like if you look at the lineups, it should have been the Radiant team pushing more towards the enemy Ancients to try to stop the Magnus fan from clearing them. Mm-hmm. So if you have a Luna draft and that's happening to you, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, I like that point, actually. Do you think, because we've been criticizing this panel before, that they don't give monster heroes that can play his protagonist role? Like, we've seen him play heroes like Sand for example, to great success, Centaur, Tide, but when they give him the Brew, last year's they gave him a Doom as well, he doesn't have that tempo controlling impact that he likes to have, usually.
You remember the game? Remember the game when they were pushing the mid-tier 1, 18 minutes in the game? That only happened because Luna felt like he needed to buy a BKB before he can push that tower. That's why I was suggesting the safe picks would be LC or Beastmaster. Yeah. With LC, the Luna would be okay, I can just push this tower, buy Dragonlance or whatever, and the LC just stand behind me, and I won't die to the Grip or the Magnus RP, But because he didn't feel safe, he only had relocate, so he wanted to farm the BKB. And when that happened already, the Sven was already so farm. I think he was around 800 to 1,000 gold ahead of the Luna at that point of the game because of the stacks. And overall, I felt like every time the Brew Split was used, they only kill one hero. Like in the first 15, 18 minutes, every time they use it, they didn't get much from the Brew Split. And every time the Brew Split was down, the enemy team would just get so much from the map. They just farm, they kill heroes, they kill towers, and I felt like if you're using the Brew Split like this, and you're not getting much with this kind of lineup, you're gonna lose the game eventually.
I really want to be a cool Brew player, so I like to play him every once in a while, and I have these feelings where I could see it in this game from Monster, where he's moving all the Brewlings around, and he's waiting with the Storm Panda, and he waits till the Flame Guard gets popped exactly, and he gets the Dispel off. I'm like, whoa, that was sick, and he gets the toss up on the Sven, and I feel like he's got the numbers floating around his head as he's hitting every single perfect little spell, and then you still lose the fight. I feel like that every time I play this hero. Where you try so hard and you're working as hard as you can, and he still doesn't offer unless everyone's there with you the whole time, it doesn't feel that incredible. And unfortunately in this game, they picked it in a situation where there were still 2 core picks left to counter a Brewmaster and an Iona Luna. And this is 2 situations where you're looking for big AoE damage to deal with pairings, you know, little friend groups. So in the end, we have an Ember who's sliding through an Io, a Luna, and then 3 other units and absolutely obliterating their team while having Empower, not to mention the fact there's a Sven.
Yeah. Look, I will say, Trent, in defense of the brew, because I'm also a brew lover. I don't think this is all brew, because when I've seen the brew Luna pairing, the idea behind it, because actually we've seen this a couple of times, not particularly by NoPing, it's Luna tends to lose most core-to-core matchups once it gets to a certain point in the game. So Brew controls it with Cyclone, and you actually get like a window that's a bit longer, right? Like 5 extra 10 minutes. But the difference is that when you do this, it's because you either have a push cover in other senses, like a Lesh mid or like a DK or something like that, that helps you out to set the tempo. Or alternatively, you are certain that the enemy team is not going to steamroll you while Luna is destroying. Like, she'll be the strongest hero in the game. I don't think any of those conditions were fulfilled. Like, they kind of forced it, like, just, yeah, Brew. That's my concern. I don't think I feel like there was other options. Like Winter said, I like what he's saying about the Beastmaster Legion, because Winter's saying, let's go play tempo. And that to me was what they had to do from the get-go. Brew does not play that kind of tempo, at least not without push. So
yeah, you draft Io Luna with your first 2 picks. I felt like whenever you pick something like this, first 2, your draft is gonna be based around it. And I think I think you were saying about maybe in another situation when you pick a brew, I think it's fine. But in this game, because the first 3 picks, if I remember correctly, it was what Snapfire, Magnus, and Bane. Yeah. And when you see these 3 heroes, I feel like if you're thinking of Luna hitting the tower, you're gonna need something to save him. You cannot just let the Luna hit the tower and rely on, okay, I have relocate. I'll just relocate out whenever he gets creep. It's hard for the Luna to hit the tower in the early game if the game goes like this. And the other thing is also because Brewmaster has a really long cooldown in the early stages, and every time you use it, if you don't get enough, you're gonna lose a lot on the map. Every time you pop that R button, the Sven is like, oh, ancient time, my ancients, clear creeps, I'm safe now, So if you don't get enough out of that, it's really hard to play the game. That's why I mentioned after the game ended, the draft ended, they can't really afford to make a lot of mistakes in the game. They have to play a perfect game to win. Even if they play a perfect game, it would still be easier for the opponent to play anyway. So that's why I felt it was really difficult for them to play.
All right, guys. I'm gonna ask you in the next panel what you guys need NoPing to do next. But for now, we're gonna take a really small break to break this post game panel, the pre-game panel, and then we're gonna get with game number 2 between Infamous and NoPing. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in literally a couple of minutes, and game 2 will start any second.